Happy New Year to all of you wonderful BKFK listeners. We wish you the most creative, wonderful, playful and imaginative year ever. Today's story is another one of our Monsters A to Z stories. We're now on the letter E. Before we tell you what the E monster is, let's hear who the superstars are for this episode.
My name is Almer and I am 9 years old. I live and I'm from the USA. I love sports and video games.
I'm Liddy and I'm 6 years old and I live in America, Springfield, and I love reading books.
Well done, guys. You did an excellent job. Remember, listeners, if you'd like to perform with us, it's really a lot of fun and very easy to do. Just go to bykids4kids.co and click on audition. Okay, Ruby, tell us what monster begins with E.
The Ent. When the rooster crowed, the woodcutter rose and yawned in the cool morning breeze. He reached for his axe, which he strapped to his back and set off to cut down some trees. He walked through the place where the forest once was, where now only tree stumps remained. He tripped over roots in his old leather boots. He grumbled and groaned and complained.
The more trees I cut,
He said, shaking his head.
the further I go to find more. I trudge and I slog just to cut down more logs. I'm sure it was easier before.
The further he traveled, he crunched over gravel. No creatures at all could be heard. No squawking, no chatter, no hooting, no clatter, not even the call of a bird. At last he arrived where the forest still grew, with willow trees, maples and pines, with dogwoods and cedars and hollies and firs, and hackberries knotted with vines. He walked through the forest, inspecting the trees. He wanted the best of them all. He soon came upon a magnificent oak with a trunk that was twisted and tall. Its branches were bent in peculiar ways, with bark that was bumpy and rough. It rustled its leaves in the cool forest breeze. Its roots were all tangled and tough.
Perfect.
The woodcutter said to himself.
The size of this tree is just right.
He lifted his axe and he twirled it around and swung it with all of his might. Just as the blade was about to connect, he heard a great thundering sound. A branch swung down low and then gave him a blow. He tumbled and fell to the ground. He looked up in horror and saw that the tree was a furious, monstrous creature. Its arms were its branches, its roots were its feet, with a face that had human-like features.
You are destroying my forest!
It cried with a voice like the roaring of thunder.
What is this terrible monster?
The woodcutter gasped in amazement and wonder.
I am an ant!
Said the ancient oak tree. It boomed like an earthquake that rumbles.
I am the guardian of all that is green, protector of forests and jungles. The time has now come. We will get our revenge for all of the trees that you chopped. I'll teach you a lesson you'll never forget. Your whacking and hacking will stop.
It reached with a branch and it snatched up the man with a furious look in its eye. And just as the tree man began to squeeze tight, the woodcutter let out a cry.
Have mercy on me! I must cut down more trees. to keep my poor family alive. I have to make money for food for our tummies. I need to cut trees to survive.
Survive?
said the tree.
You're a fool. Don't you see how we help everyone everywhere? We help you to breathe when we work with our leaves, providing the planet with air.
But what about food?
The woodcutter replied.
We need to make space for our fields. More and more people need more and more farms to grow more and more food for our meals.
You've got enough land,
said the ant to the man. It angrily let out a roar.
You've got enough space to feed all of the world. You don't need to take any more.
But people need space because people need place to build houses.
The woodcutter pleaded.
Our numbers are growing with no sign of slowing, so more and more cities are needed.
The ant said,
What nonsense! There's plenty of land. You're wrong, Mr. Woodman. You're lying. The whole human race gobbles more and more space, while more and more creatures are dying. So many living things suffer and die, while you and your people get wealthy. Our planet needs all of the creatures and plants. It needs them to keep itself healthy. It needs every animal and every plant. It needs all the birds and the bees. We need to protect even tiny insects and fish in the oceans and seas. The planet depends on the forests and trees. It needs us to keep the world cool. But nobody learns as the world slowly burns. You're cutting down forests like fools. And now, you will feel my revenge for all you have done to the trees.
It tightened its grip on the frightened woodman, who groaned as it started to squeeze.
Wait!
Cried the woodman.
I now understand. I have been mistaken, I know. Is there a way to undo what we've done and help all the forests to grow?
Well, it might not be too late if you truly do mean what you say. I can't tell you how, but you need to act now and tackle the problem today. Bury our seeds where the old forest was. But what happens after depends. If you water their seeds and you tend to their needs, the forests will grow once again. All of the trees that have lived out their lives, you could cut for the things that you make. But if that's the case, then you have to replace them and try to give more than you take.
I will,
said the woodcutter, breaking his axe.
I promise to do what is right. I'll tend to the forests. I'll guard all the trees and protect them with all of my might.
Hey guys, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family. It is one of the best ways to support BKFK Storytime.